Hey guys, it's ShawNshawN here. I'm going to the studio. Last night I saw a really interesting video. First on Jim Jones, who kind of formed in California. They formed early in Indiana, and then went to California, and then went to Guyana, and then they had a mass suicide. It's crazy, right? Then followed up on that, which is really interesting, they did the cult leader David Koresh, who took over the Branch Davidians, who split up from the Seventh-day Adventists. That's a short story, but basically he had a standoff with ATF, and also charges of molesting kids, and pretty bad charges. Anyway, so you stand up with the FBI. The FBI try to raid him. They get the heads up, so when the FBI comes, there's kind of a small shootout. About 10 people died right there. And so then the FBI was like, holy crap, we'll bring in the real troops. They bring in some tanks and all kind of crazy stuff. Under the Clinton regime. So at this point, they kind of weighed him out, and then, he said, oh, I'm writing a book, I'll let these people go. And then at some point after 50 days, the FBI's like, screw this, we're just going to take it over. It's like a hostage situation. And, they're basically losing face, I think, in front of the national news media. So if it hadn't been a news event, then maybe this might not have happened. So when they storm the gates, they kind of supposedly throw tear gas in. At least that's the FBI story. The Branch Davidian story is that they burn them alive. And another version of the story is that they actually intentionally set the fires. Now, after watching the Jim Jones and how they had this mass suicide, I kind of believe the second, and as far as they probably burned themselves alive, which, you wouldn't think a rational person would do that, but they literally thought he was the son of God, if you can believe that. His name is David, after the King of David, and Koresh was named after Cyrus, the great Persian leader. And that was a complete rename from his original name, which is Vernon something. Vernon Howell, I think. So yeah, I think that's a great topic for a painting. I don't know if it'll sell it, but, based on the Warhol, that, the most expensive Warhols in the world are the suicide car paintings, and not the really pretty soup cans and the pretty Marilyn Monroe. So maybe that's the way to get. That's the ticket, just because it's so unusual. And people like to collect the unusual, so sometimes that's kind of fun to throw in there. So don't just paint apples and mountains and desert. Throw something original in there. It doesn't have to be gruesome, obviously, but hey, maybe gruesome's a ticket. Who knows? All right, wish me luck. Thanks, guys. See you inside. Hey guys, I'm just back here. So I wanted you to guess what was the special numbers that the Branch Davidians believed in. Let me know what you think that number is. You can obviously Google it, or you can wait to the end of the video. All right, thanks guys. All right, today I'm going to add you the colors, which I forgot usually. So I got golden Mars black. Going to use a titanium white. You can use a zinc white, but it's more like it's like a see-through white, so it's good if you want to kind of do maybe the ocean, but not necessarily where you need to block it. You got raw umber. I might use this. It's cadmium red. Also, I have let's see, Quin red. It's always a classic. You can actually, a lot of colors are the basis of that color, so you kind of just buy that and not buy other stuff. You got a yellow ochre, which I might use. We'll see. Primary yellow. You always need your primaries. I got a cobalt blue. That's really nice sky blue kind of color. I got this Aquatin. I just call it Quin blue, but it's Aquatinone blue. It makes a really nice dark blue. It's not warm at all. It's all cool. Burnt umber and raw sienna. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so there's couple of special numbers for the Branch Davidians. One is obviously 7, which is typical for the rest of all of the Christian sects. His use of 7 was in the 7 seals. So when he had the FBI standoff with David Koresh, he's like, no, wait, I'm going to write a book. And obviously they're like, what are you talking about, dude? A book? He's obviously kind of stalling for time. But so he cranks out the first chapter, which is called Seal 1. But he's supposed to write 6 more seals. He wrote it in like 2 days. So he could have written the whole book like in 14 days, which, would have been kind of cool to look at later. But probably the FBI wanted to limit his Messiah complex and people following his example later. Hopefully they want to deter that. But yeah, that was one of the numbers. The other number, which is specifically related to maybe in general Christian sects, but specifically the Branch Davidians, also their descendants, which are kind of the Seventh-day Adventists, is where that kind of sprang from. And another one called the Rod, which was related to Branch Davidians, another split off. Basically, all these leaders come to power and they think, oh, I'm the son of God. No, you're the son of God. So they have to form a whole new religion, right? Anyway, the special number for them was 144,000. Now, this is mentioned specifically in one of the quotes in the Bible, and it's basically saying there's 1,000 tribes here, blah, 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 12,000 tribes, and all these different tribes, right? It's just a nice round number. And 12 is obviously a multiple of the 12 disciples times 1,000 followers, right? So, and basically the Seventh-day Adventists, I think if I'm getting this right, they only believe that 144,000 people in the whole world are going to go to heaven. Everyone else is burning hell. So that's a special number for the Branch Davidians. All right, thanks, guys. All right, so I'm back again. So I'm going to zoom in. Here's our final product. And what I've done here is kind of done this really smooth blue. And as well as on the foreground, I've done this nice kind of green grass color. And I've just isolated it down to the building, and I added across just to kind of give it recognition. I mean, their flag was actually a Star of David with a snake through it, but I don't know if people put 2 and 2 together. If I paint a really tiny, what is that called? Jewish star? I can't think of it. But anyway, I didn't think they would actually get it, but the cross people obviously know that connected to Christianity. There's a sect of Christianity, so it kind of rings true there. I did think originally to put kind of a tank in there, but then I kind of took it out. I don't know if it's really necessary as far as, I'd like to kind of put it in there in a sense that it would create the disparity. Was it the FBI that started the fire? Was it the Branch Davidians? I think we can all agree it's probably the Branch Davidians, especially if you look at, there was a mass murder a few years back, it's escaping my mind, in Guyana, can't remember the church name, but anyway, they had a mass suicide, and Jim Jones, and so he had his mass suicide. This is kind of similar. It's a small church, very coldish, very, the people were super isolated, so they just got more and more crazy basically over time and very devoted to the leader. So a similar kind of aspect, this paranoia about the police coming, the end of the world. Both end up committing suicide just to avoid getting caught by the authorities, these evil authorities from Babylon, or however they thought of the outside authorities. And of course, the FBI had no idea about how extreme this religion was and how the followers that actually die for the leader. So obviously children died in the fire, so it was really tragic. I remember back in '93 when it happened, it was really odd. I was just like, what is this on TV every day? It's just this weird, they're filming this guy's house, it's some religious extremism. And then, one day, obviously in '93, then they burn the house down, and you're like, what is this about? These guys are burning a house, and you find out later, like they built, they had kids inside, and it was like 17 kids, 80 adults. They had a shootout with the FBI and the ATF, so it's really kind of a strange, bizarre thing. I think it just kind of, it hung in the news, but you didn't know why it was on the news every day. It was like when CNN used to be the old CNN, so they would cover live news forever, and you'd have no idea why they're covering it. But anyway, that's my take. Hopefully you like it. Give it a thumbs up. And if you want to follow me, I'm down below. So subscribe below. Also, you know, share with your friends if you want to. There's obviously a really good mini-series right now on Waco, and I think they're doing a repeat on it, so hence that's probably why they showed the old video on TV that I got inspired for this painting. But I hope you like it, and if you want, it should be on eBay pretty soon here. So see you guys later. Thanks.